Welcome to the Soulfull Sound podcast. I'm your host, Simone Niles, and I hope you enjoy today's Soulfull Sound coaching. Welcome to a new episode of Soulfull Sound Coaching. Each month, I'll be answering your questions about anything related to healing and transformation, connecting with yourself, discovering your gifts, and practical strategies on sharing your gifts with the world, or any burning question you have and sense that I'm the right person to answer it. This month's question comes from Jessica. I need to take charge of my life and set clear boundaries. What are some ways that I could implement healthy boundaries in my life? Great question, Jessica. And here's my take on creating and implementing healthy boundaries in just 4 simple steps. This is really important to do in life, so I'm really glad that it's something that you're looking at addressing now. So the very first step is to know your parameters. Know your parameters around work, relationships, and other areas of your life. And realize that creating a healthy boundary just means that you know what you're willing to and not willing to accept in your life. And healthy boundaries are linked to knowing our worth. And let me start by saying here, you are worthy of being treated with respect, and that the only way you will teach others how to respect you is to first respect yourself. So when you are wanting to create a healthy boundary, implement it for yourself first. For example, if you have a tendency of letting others pressure you into doing things that you don't want to do, then look at how you pressure yourself into doing things you don't want to do and stop. You allowing others to pressure you simply means you are pressuring yourself. This isn't to say that you will never have to do things you don't like or want to do, but more so, know your boundaries and choose you. This leads me on to the next step. Don't be a people pleaser. It is okay to say no. The one thing, this one I really had to learn for myself, because I often associated yes with being helpful and selfless. But when it got to a point where my well-being was the cost of so many yeses, I practiced the no's more often. It is great to be helpful and to serve others, but not so much if the cost is you. Because in reality, the only way you can really truly give to others is to have something to give in the first place. And it is important to give to yourself first. We hear all the time about the example of being on an airplane when the oxygen mask dropped down. The first thing you're told to do is to put it on yourself first, then help others. There's no point in passing out trying to be the help someone else. So, the same applies here. You want to fill up your cup to overflow, and then you have plenty to go around. So that was step 1, know your parameters. Step 2, don't be a people pleaser. And now step 3, take responsibility for your choices. How others feel about your boundaries is none of your business or concern. And this is huge. If there's one thing you take away from this episode, make it be this step. None of your business or concern how others feel about your boundaries. Not everyone is going to get you in your choices, and that's okay. You're not asking people to understand or have the same parameters as you. Again, you're just demanding that they respect your choices. And again, this must mean that you do. And notice that I use the word demanding, not asking. Asking suggests you're giving them a choice in the matter. And in the case of your boundaries, you are not. Many times in the building of my business, I've said no to social events. And I remember a couple times some of the acquaintances, not so much my close friends, but people who might have invited me out, saying, oh, Simone, you're working too hard. You need to create work-life balance. But you see, one of the parameters that I set was to sacrifice some of the social time at that point in order to prioritize some business projects. And interestingly, because I so love what I do and I had so much fun in creating and building my business, it was bringing so much joy in my life. Why would I rob myself of that joy? So I could have chosen to go out and socialize, but instead I committed to a boundary I created to help me move forward business-wise. And fortunately, I have the greatest friends who are supportive and don't take these no's personally. And the final step is to practice consistency. So yay, I finally said no to someone, or I put my foot down where I normally wouldn't. Oh, okay, that's great. Now what? Creating healthy boundaries and acting upon them are not a one-time thing. While it's good to notice and celebrate the small victories, it is vital to be consistent, because if you're not used to having certain parameters in place, it will definitely take practice to keep them in place. Consistency takes awareness, it takes reflection. And so you want to be aware of what your parameters are and when you're allowing others, yourself first, but others to cross them. Notice the times when they remain in place and then how they benefit you. Reflect on what's working and what's not in terms of your approach and make the necessary adjustments. Just take it from one moment to another. This isn't about pressuring yourself. In fact, just the opposite, helping you to let go of added pressure that builds up when you have no boundaries in place. So put these steps in place, Jessica, and explore how things shift in your life. And for anyone listening, what are some of the healthy boundaries you need to put in place in your life right now so that you know your own worth? Let me know how you're going to get on with this. Comment below. Let's keep the conversation going. I would love to know what boundaries you've put in place, how these 4 steps work for you. And yeah, let's keep this conversation going. Here's to creating boundaries and demanding respect. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please feel free to share it with your friends and remember to subscribe. From my heart to yours, sending you love, healing, and sound wherever you are.